We got a packed house tonight, everybody.
Is this for talking? Yes.
Go ahead and get this meeting, April 8, 2019, to order. John, roll call, please.
Mr. Fisher?
Present.
Mr. Fight?
Here.
Ms. Rumke?
Here.
Mr. Hacker?
Here.
Mr. Sturms? Here. Mr. Walrus?
Here.
All right, stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank everyone for coming. First order of business is O-019-17, a ordinance hiring Cindy Doman as a full-time police officer for Amelia Village and declaring an emergency. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules requiring two readings on two separate dates. Mr. Fisher made a motion, do I have a second? Mr. Strom, second. John, roll call, please.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Yay. Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Ms. Rumke?
Yay.
Mr. Sturms? Yay. Mr. Walrus?
Yay.
This time I need a motion for the adoption of the ordinance. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Motion made.
We did read.
Yes.
Mr. Fisher made a motion, do I have a second? Mr. Hacker, second.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Fight?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Ms. Rumke?
Yay.
Mr. Sturms? Yay. Mr. Walrus?
Yay.
This time I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause in ordinance for passage by emergency.
Make the motion.
Ms. Rumpke made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Fisher, second. John?
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Fight?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Ms. Rumke?
Yay.
Mr. Sturms?
Yay.
Mr. Walrus?
Yay.
All right. Ms. Bowman, front center, please. You got somebody like that old Bible?
I'm sorry?
You have somebody like that old Bible? It doesn't matter.
sister.
Raise your right hand, place the other hand on the Bible. All right, are you ready? I'll take it slow. Look excited.
I'm excited.
Repeat after me. I, Sidney Doman,
I, Sydney Dukeman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
the ordinances and resolutions of Amelia Village,
the ordinance and resolutions of Amelia Village,
Claremont County, Ohio,
Claremont County, Ohio,
and I got lost here. Let's try this one more time. Are we ready?
yes, sir.
All right. I, Sidney Doman,
I, Sydney Dukeman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
the ordinances and resolutions of Amelia Village,
the ordinance and resolutions of Amelia Village,
and faithfully perform
and faithfully perform
the duties of full-time police officer
the duties of full-time police officer
for Amelia Village,
for Amelia Village,
Claremont County, Ohio,
Claremont County, Ohio,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
without malice or prejudice,
without malice and prejudice,
but with courtesy and respect
but with courtesy and respect
for all.
for all.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Sworn to and attested this 18th day of April 2019. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, appreciate it.
I do. I'll get you to sign these. All right. I need red signs. All right. Wait right here, we're gonna get some copies. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am, appreciate it.
I think so.
I would have said something.
We have a copy of the minutes.
I'll move. It's my secret. I'm gonna stand up anyway. Sorry. That's just my heart.
Mike made a motion. Second to accept the minutes. Fisher made a second. John, roll call, please.
Mr. Walraven.
Yay.
Mr. Stern. Abstain. Ms. Runke.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Mr. Five.
Yay.
Mr. Fisher.
Next, we have the expenses. There's questions.
That's Bruce, right? Bruce?
Yes.
Hatton's fence, is that the repair of the cemetery?
That was, yes, damage done.
JR's busy.
Motion to approve.
Fisher made a motion to approve or to pay the bills, do I have a second?
Second.
Monkey second, John.
Mr. Fisher.
Yay.
Mr. Five.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Ms. Runke.
Yay.
Mr. Stern.
Yay.
Mr. Walraven.
Yay. All right, fire chief. Come on now.
Matt Krauser.
Mayor, Council, good evening.
Welcome back.
Thank you. During the month of March, the fire department responded to 46 incidents. 5 of those were fire-related and 41 were EMS. Of the EMS calls, 21 occurred during daytime hours and 20 during nighttime hours. We treated and transported 34 patients to area hospitals and treated 7 patients that refused to be transported. Of those 34 transports, we took 2 patients to Christ Hospital, 3 to Claremont Mercy, and 29 to Mercy Anderson. The average response times for an EMS call was 5 minutes, 46 seconds, and 3 minutes, 59 seconds for the fire calls. That concludes my report. Any questions? Hearing none?
Fire truck ready for Saturday?
Yeah.
All right, pick the Easter money up.
Time to hop on out.
All right.
All right.
We all set?
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Police chief report.
Mayor and Council. Let's see, for the month of March 2019, we had 405 calls for service, 113 calls less than last year, or last March last year. I just want to make note on March 26th of 2019, a person with a handgun entered the American Legion, broke into the building. After a lengthy investigation, we did capture the person. He's currently in Claremont County Jail, waiting trial. I also want to make note, we had a call at one of the local businesses for a man in the women's bathroom. He was looking over the stalls. Our officers arrived on the scene within 1 minute, caught him running from the building. He was also in Claremont County Jail. I want to make a note that we had 73 individuals on the docket for various court. 33 of them appeared to have their cases heard. 36 of them failed to appear. And 4 were sent to the Attorney General's office for collection. The Ohio Attorney General has collected $2,295.80 for adjudicated cases for Amelia for the month of March of this year. I also posted on our Facebook page that the Junior Police Academy will be starting again this year, June 24th through 28th. We're going to have it at the Hollyville Elementary School. It's no cost to young adults that are 13 to 17 years of age. All the information is on our Facebook page. That's all I have.
Thank you for the police chief. I'll go ahead and do mayor's court report. Mayor's court report, current period, $8,731.70. Year-to-date, $21,676.58. Last year was $33,200. Thank you, Chief. Everybody have a copy of the zoning report? Permits issued? There's no questions, we'll move on to committee reports. No, Mr. Fight, you were not here, so I think Mr. Fisher was finance report.
April 2nd, 2019 Finance Committee met. In attendance for myself, Mr. Sturm, Mayor Hart, Chief Wood, Joel Gilpin, and Bill Gilpin. Lake Fight was absent. Guests in attendance were Renee Gerber, Roy Gerber, Sue Rosser, Tim Rosser, Ed Mays, Ed McCoy, and Stephanie Piquet. Meeting called to order at 7:03 p.m. Mr. Fisher made a motion to approve the March 5th, 2019 minutes with corrections, and Mr. Sturm seconded. All present voted yea. The committee reviewed the March 2019 monthly reports. Mr. Bill Gilpin reminded the committee that the ban for Village Hall is due in June 2019 and discussed paying off $275,000 in principals at renewal. Mr. Rosser asked how long the village has had the Village Hall debt. He stated that the residents of the village wish to have 125 paid first. Mrs. Rosser asked about her public records request for the police general ledger. Mrs. Paquette asked if the village could sell the building and liquidate that debt. Mr. McCoy asked about the statement for the average salary of the village administrator from the March meeting. Mr. Gerber asked if the salary amount was comparable to village size. Mr. Rosser asked who was on the hiring committee for a village commissioner or administrator. Chief Wood asked about Mr. Hyder's payroll and if he could be paid bi-weekly instead of monthly. Next finance meeting was set for May 7th. Mr. Fisher made a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:40 p.m. and Mr. Sturm seconded. All present voted yea.
All right. Put my handy dandy duly acquired. I have a voice issue, so our good friends at the VA are trying to take care of us veterans. Let me know if this gets too loud because it definitely can go loud. All right. Yeah, ordinance O-2019-18. An ordinance by the council of Amelia Village, Ohio, authorizing the purchase of a new vehicle for the use by the Amelia Police Department and declaring an emergency. This time I need to suspend the rules requiring 2 readings on 2 separate dates.
Motion made.
Mr. Fisher made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Fight, second. John, roll call.
Mr. Walwortham?
Yay.
Mr. Stern?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Mr. Fight?
Yay.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Everybody. This time I need a motion for the adoption of the ordinance.
Make motion.
Ms. Rumke made a motion. Mr. Hacker, second.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Fight?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Stern?
Yay.
Mr. Walwortham?
Yay.
This time I need a motion for the adoption of the emergency clause.
Motion made.
Mr. Fisher made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Fight, second.
Mr. Walwortham?
Yay.
Mr. Stern?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Mr. Fight?
Yay.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
This ordinance is ordinance O-2019-19, an ordinance to contract with Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield to provide medical, hospitalization, life, A&D, and D insurance coverage for full-time village employees and declaring an emergency. At this time, I need a motion to suspend the rules requiring 2 readings on 2 separate dates.
You need to make a motion.
Mr. Fight made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Rumpke, second. John?
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Fight?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Stern?
Yay.
Mr. Walwortham?
Yay.
This time I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause in the ordinance for passage by emergency.
Make a motion.
Fisher made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Fight?
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Fight?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Stern?
Yay.
Mr. Walwortham?
Yay.
With this ordinance, our charter requires us to do a bidding threshold for contracts, and we are doing the statutory requirements per the Ohio Revised Code. Amelia Village, Ohio Ordinance O-2019-20, an ordinance establishing bidding threshold contracts and declaring an emergency. This time I need a motion. Suspend the rules, 2 readings on 2 separate dates.
Make a motion.
Fisher made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hacker, second. John?
Mr. Walwortham?
Yay.
Mr. Stern?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Sorry. Mr. Fight?
Yay.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
This is next. Then go to this one. Okay. This time I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause in the ordinance for passing by emergency.
Make motion.
Ms. Rumpke made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Fisher, second. John?
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Fight?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Stern?
Yay.
Mr. Walwortham?
Yay.
This next ordinance is a social media policy. Since we have social media, we have to have an ordinance in place for that. Ordinance O-2019-21, an ordinance amending the Amelia Village Personnel Policy Manual to add Article 11 regarding social media policy and declaring an emergency. Are there any questions on this? If not, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules, 2 readings on 2 separate dates.
motion.
Mr. Rumpke made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hacker, second.
Mr. Walworth.
Yay.
Mr. Sturm.
Yay.
Ms. Rumkey.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Mr. Fight.
Yay.
Mr. Fisher.
Yay.
At this time, I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause in the ordinance for passage by emergency.
Motion made.
Mr. Fisher made the motion, do I have a second? You made a second. And Mr. Sturm?
Mr. Fisher.
Yay.
Mr. Fight.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Ms. Rumkey.
Yay.
Mr. Sturm.
Yay.
Mr. Walworth.
Yay.
Next ordinance, Amelia Village, Ohio, ordinance O-2019-22, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Transitions Lift and Elevators regarding commercial wheelchair lift, and to enter into a contract for preliminary preparation and work. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules on 2 readings on 2 separate dates.
Make a motion.
Mr. Hacker made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Rumpke, second.
Mr. Walworth.
Yay.
Mr. Sturm.
Yay.
Ms. Rumkey.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Mr. Fight.
Yay.
Mr. Fisher.
Yay.
This time I need a motion for the adoption of the ordinance.
Make a motion.
Is that Ms. Rumpke?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Fisher, second.
Mr. Fisher.
Yay.
Mr. Fight.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Ms. Rumkey.
Yay.
Mr. Sturm.
Yay.
Mr. Walworth.
Yay.
The next ordinance is for the purchase of a broom and curb sweeper, so we can clean up the curbs. Amelia Village, Ohio, ordinance O-2019-23, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to purchase 72-inch Bobcat and ancillary items. It's actually a broom. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules requiring 2 readings on 2 separate dates.
Make a motion.
Got a motion from Mrs. Rumpke, do I have a second? Fight, second.
Mr. Walworth.
Yay.
Mr. Sturm.
Yay.
Ms. Rumkey.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Mr. Fight.
Yay.
Mr. Fisher.
Yay.
This time I need to move for the adoption of the ordinance.
Motion made.
Mr. Fisher made a motion, do I have a second? Mr. Hacker, second.
Mr. Fisher. Mr. Fight.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Ms. Rumkey.
Yay.
Mr. Sturm.
Yeah.
Mr. Walworth.
Yay.
Next, this was brought up in finance to move John from monthly to bi-weekly. Amelia Village, Ohio, ordinance O-2019-24. It's ordinance amending the pay, frequency, and administrative coordinator hire from monthly to bi-weekly and declaring an emergency. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules requiring 2 readings on 2 separate dates. Mr. Hacker made a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Mr. Fisher, second. John, roll call.
Mr. Walworth.
Yay.
Mr. Sturm.
Yay.
Ms. Rumkey.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Mr. Fight.
Yay.
Mr. Fisher.
Yay.
This time I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause in the ordinance for passage by emergency.
Make a motion.
Ms. Rumpke made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Fight, second.
Mr. Fisher.
Yay.
Mr. Fight.
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Ms. Rumkey.
Yay.
Mr. Sturm.
Yay.
Mr. Walworth.
Yay.
Next piece of legislation is ordinance O-2019-25, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Shannon Excavation regarding retention pond and plumbing work and declaring an emergency. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules and two readings on two separate dates.
Make a motion.
Ms. Rumpke made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Fisher, second. Tom, when you're ready.
Mr. Fisher,
Yay.
Mr. Fife,
Yay.
Mr. Hacker,
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey,
Yay.
Mr. Sturm, Mr. Walden,
Yay.
This time I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause in the ordinance for passage by emergency.
Motion made.
Mr. Fisher made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Rumpke, second.
Mr. Walden,
Yay.
Mr. Sturm, Drumkey,
Yay.
Mr. Hacker,
Yay.
Mr. Fife,
Yay.
Mr. Fisher,
Yay.
Next, we have Amelia Village, Ohio ordinance 0-2019-26. An ordinance authorizing the mayor into a contract with Under Construction Inc. regarding asphalt repair and declaring an emergency. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules on two readings on two separate dates.
Make a motion.
Mr. Hager made a motion.
Second.
Mr. Fisher, second.
Ms. Rumke,
Yay.
Mr. Hacker,
Yay.
Mr. Fife,
Yay.
Mr. Fisher,
Yay.
Mr. Sturm,
Yay.
Mr. Walden,
Yay.
This time I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause in the ordinance for passage by emergency.
Motion made.
Mr. Fisher made the motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Rumpke, second.
Mr. Walden,
Yay.
Mr. Sturm,
Yay.
Ms. Rumke,
Yay.
Mr. Hacker,
Yay.
Mr. Fife,
Yay.
Mr. Fisher,
Yay.
This next ordinance is for seasonal help. We do this every year. We're actually down to one guy right now, so this will help out greatly. Amelia Village, Ohio ordinance is 0-2019-27. An ordinance authorizing the mayor into a contract with Express Employment professionals regarding seasonal maintenance work and declaring an emergency. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules on two readings and two separate dates.
Make a motion.
Ms. Rumpke made a motion, I have a second. Mr. Fisher, second.
Mr. Fife,
Yay.
Mr. Hacker,
Yay.
Ms. Rumke,
Yay.
Mr. Sturm, Mr. Walden,
Yay.
Mr. Fisher,
Yay.
This time I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause in the ordinance for passage by emergency. Mr. Fisher made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hacker?
Mr. Walden, Mr. Sturm, Ms. Rumke,
Yay.
Mr. Fisher,
Yay.
Mr. Fife,
Yay.
Mr. Hacker.
Yay.
Everybody's looked over this playground equipment. We have two proposals. We have proposal 1 and proposal 2. So I'm looking for council to.
Make sure they are looking at the one with the emergency
Would you like to share with the residents what your proposals are?
We do have public input. You know, if you find this funny, you can leave, all right? This is, we're conducting a meeting here. This is a professional meeting.
Oh.
If you do it again, I'm gonna ask you to leave.
Well, the ordinance is drafted to allow the mayor to have either, but if you decide to have one or the other, we can have a motion
too advanced for younger kids.
Somebody want to make a motion for option 2?
I'll make the motion.
And just to be clear, so the motion would amend the ordinance 2019-28, section 1 to read, council hereby authorizes the mayor to enter into, and then it'll delete either option 1 proposal 4, and it'll pick up with option 2 proposal.
We have a motion on the floor for option 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
Sorry,
Mr. Wallen and Mr. Walworth made a motion for option 2, and Mrs. Rumpke second that.
As stated in the amendment.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Fite?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Mr. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Sturm?
Yay.
Mr. Warren?
Yay.
Ordinance O-2019-28, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with TWA Recreation, Inc. for Spencer Shank Memorial Park Playground equipment and declaring an emergency. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules requiring 2 readings on 2 separate dates.
Make a motion.
Ms. Rumpke made a motion, do I have a second? Mr. Sturm, second.
Mr. Warren?
Yay.
Mr. Sturm?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Mr. Fite?
Yay.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
This time I need a motion to adopt the emergency clause in the ordinance for passage by emergency.
Motion made.
Mr. Fisher made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Walworth, second.
Mr. Warren?
Yay.
Mr. Sturm?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Mr. Fite?
Yay.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
All right. Our next piece of legislation is ordinance O-2019-29, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Color-Day Blacktop, Inc. regarding asphalt paving. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules requiring 2 readings on 2 separate dates.
Make a motion.
Mr. Hacker made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Rumpke, second.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Fite?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Sturm? Mr. Warren?
Yay.
This time I need a motion for the adoption of the ordinance.
Motion made.
Mr. Fisher made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Rumpke.
Yes.
Rumpke made a second,
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Mr. Fite?
Yay.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Warren?
Yay.
Mr. Sturm?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
All right. Next, we have a resolution. Mid Village, Ohio Resolution R 2019-06, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Ohio Plan Risk Management, Inc. for property and liability insurance for Amelia Village. This time I need a motion for the adoption of the resolution.
Make a motion.
Rumpke made a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Fisher, second. John Roll.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yay.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Mr. Fite?
Yay.
Mr. Fisher?
Yay.
Mr. Warren?
Yay.
Mr. Sturm?
I'm going to move my mayor's input to after public input. So the next order we have will be council input.
Councilmember, Mr. Stephen Hacker and I have selected 2 new members to the planning commission, Kathy Forbes and Mr. John Kiefer. And this is per 4-year term under the charter.
those two people?
Yes. Kathy Forbes and John Cooper.
Somebody like to make that a motion? Mr. Hackle said he'd make a motion.
Two votes, one for
Okay, we'll do the first one for Kathy Forbes. So we have a motion, do we have a second? Mr. Fisher, second.
Mr. Fisher?
Yeah.
Mr. Pike?
Yeah.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yeah.
Mr. Sherman? Mr. Wallerton?
Yay.
Who was the second individual?
John Cooper.
Would you like to make a motion? Trumpy makes a motion, John Keeper. Do we have a second? Mr. Fisher, second.
Mr. Wallerton?
Yay.
Mr. Stern?
Yay.
Ms. Drumkey?
Yeah.
Mr. Hacker?
Yay.
Mr. Pike?
Yeah.
Mr. Fisher?
Yeah.
All right. Next, we'll be opening the floor for public input, general public forum. All persons who wish to speak during the general public forum session of any meeting of any council for which a general public forum is scheduled shall complete the speaker sign-in form furnished in advance of the council meeting no later than the start of the general public forum. Persons who wish to sign up for the general public forum in advance of the meeting may file with the clerk of the council a speaking request no earlier than Monday of the week of the meeting on which they wish to speak. If a speaking request is received by the clerk in advance of the meeting, the clerk shall indicate the time of receipt. The mayor or presiding officer shall begin the general public forum by summarizing the rules. The presiding officer shall recognize and introduce speakers in order in which the clerk of council received advance notice of the request to speak, followed by the order of the speaker's form signed in the sheet. Form at the council meeting. The presiding officer must recognize persons who wish to address council prior to such persons taking the floor. All persons speaking during the citizens forum are limited to one appearance in general public forum. All persons addressing council shall furnish their name and address prior to providing public input. No person may be permitted to speak any longer than 3 minutes. There will be a monitor. Mayor presiding officer may order the removal of any person for disturbing a lawful meeting or failing to comply with any lawful decision or order by the mayor or presiding officer for the duration of the meeting or such lesser period of the mayor. Presiding officer may determine in the event the individual disturbing a lawful meeting refuses to leave or modify his or her behavior. The mayor or presiding officer may direct that officer of the police department remove said person from the meeting. The use of obscene or profane language, personal attack, libel, slander, defamation, physical violence, or a threat thereof as determined by the mayor shall constitute disturbing a lawful meeting.
I'm sorry, when did you say that emails had to be in by?
The emails need to be in 48 hours prior, 2 business days.
So Tuesday I sent them in, so that didn't count?
Yeah, we're gonna get back to that, Mayor, soon.
Okay, thank you.
So John, if you call the first person.
Mr. McCoy?
I want to thank the residents for filling these chambers, and I hope that you do this all the way till November. My family and I moved to the village of Amelia from beautiful Batavia Township in January 2016. Our house sold faster than we anticipated, so having to act quickly, we narrowed our choices between 2 homes. One here in Amelia and one in Little Miami School District. We figured why uproot our children. We have lived in an area for many years but didn't really know much about this village. What I do know is that the embarrassment of Main Street is the same embarrassment of Main Street 20 years ago. When we have company over, we are apologetic to our guests for what they had to drive through. We deal with it because we chose to live here. Up until the middle of June 2018, I couldn't tell you who the mayor of Amelia was, nor did I care. Receiving a letter and then receiving another letter stating the first one was inaccurate yet informing my wife and I that we're being taxed 1% for living here, 1% of my earnings starting 2 weeks later. What a dirty thing to do to the residents. This council has seen me plenty since. I refuse to back down on giving my hard-earned wages to a small-town inept government that has no business conducting business. 11 years of ordinances, almost 93% were passed as emergencies. Almost 96% of the resolutions were passed as emergencies. These results are stunning, and I want to thank Vice Mayor Doug Fisher for revealing such staggering statistics. I really want to thank Clearmont Sun for exposing to the county and further just how much the public has taken out of the process. Ms. Rumke, you threatened and attempted to intimidate me at the February council meeting. You stated I had 10 days to turn over a video to Mr. Hyder, administrative assistant. Let me ask you, did you get the video? Was your intent to threaten and intimidate me?
No, sir.
Okay. I have a letter I'm going to read you, Ms. Rumke. It's addressed to you, Mr. Gilpin. Please find the attached here to a copy of a petition relating to the surrender of corporate powers of the Village of Amelia. This petition is being submitted to you prior to circulation to the extent it may be required under RC 731.32. I certify that the copy attached here to is a true and exact copy of the petition proposal relating to the surrender of the corporate powers of the Village of Amelia. Here's a copy of that I'm going to hand to you, and the petition that's going to be circulated throughout the community directly after this meeting, in which I would like a written receipt of this. You can give it to me, you can give it to John, and I'll pick it up in the morning. There are a lot of residents that feel it's time to go in a different direction and free Amelia. So if you don't mind, I'm going to give you this. Oh, yeah, there you go. Mr. Hyder, I would like my statement and a copy of this letter to be added to the minutes. So I'm going to hand that to you. Made in 3 minutes.
Atta boy.
We're- Just waiting for it to get-
I'm writing this message.
Yeah, you know.
To Rosser?
You want to start?
Sue Roxler, 34 Hummingbird Way. I'm usually here to complain about the streets, which I still am gonna complain about the streets. But one of my biggest beefs is, I don't get why we don't get our public records request. They picked a person out from planning commission already. I put a request in on April 5th. I still don't have it. I asked again when I was up there on April 11th. John said I'd work on it. Should have it Friday the 12th. My husband stopped up there today to talk to Todd. He said he'd get it before the meeting. Still don't have it. I'm still waiting on public records request from 321 for the general fund for the police department for year 2016, 17, 18, and 19, the general ledger fund. I was at the finance committee meeting on April 2nd. I asked Bill, where was the status on that? He said he'd already handed those paperwork over. So I'm assuming they're in your hands. So I just don't get why it's taking so long to get public records requests. Also, so for that, then I also emailed the mayor on March 21st, sitting here from the meeting since he wasn't here for the meeting, to asking for their list of street repairs that he's told me in January, February, if he'll get that list to me. Because as we all know, the streets in Amelia are terrible.
Yes.
So I was asking the mayor, what streets are we planning on getting repaired? And I also sent on March 25th, a second request for that, still haven't gotten that. I just don't get why you don't wanna communicate with your residents, that you guys are all up here supposed to be representing. There's no reason that with the way the streets are in despair that there shouldn't be a list, because according to you back in January, you said there's a list. I'll get that from Derek. Derek Campbell's got the book, but I still haven't seen it. It is very, very disheartening about letters, emails for people that are gonna be literally representing us residents on the planning commission, and you can't even get it. How hard is it, John, by the ORC, if it's readily available, if we're right there in that building, that stuff should be printed up by ordinance. You can't tell me John don't have the email of the people asking to be on the planning commission in his computer. You can't tell me he doesn't have a copy of a letter they may have dropped off. There's no reason when I sent that email on April 5th, or even when I was back in that building on April 11th, I could not have gotten those letters to see who applied for planning commissions. And when he stated, well, I have 30 requests I'm working on, but I should have it on Friday. And then today, he said he's got 40. Can you answer that, Ms. Solicitor? Where's the records request? So it takes 29 days to get something when Bill has already gave it to you?
We have it in the village hall, we're working through the requests, there are a large number of them.
All right, I have two questions I want to respond. You did pick up the road book. You requested it, you showed up at the office, John asked you to go ahead and make whatever pages you wanted, and you picked 2 or 3 pages of the road book out, and you took it with you. That's what you asked for.
I asked for a list of repairs, but
You asked for the road book. And then you
I did not
also-
ask for the road book. We will verify that by
Mr.
email.
Rosser came today, and I told him I made him no promises I could get that to him tonight. We had a very busy schedule, so, thank you.
Thank you. Like I said, April 5th, March 21st, still don't have it. Go figure.
You notice too, we've done 2 ordinances today to start repaving, so.
That, except, Mr. Hyder, I sent you an email with a picture of a safety concern in my yard. You did not assist me. As my village, I'm disappointed.
I've called Cincinnati Bell, that belongs to them.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does, ma'am.
Well, that's not who, but, okay, I was told it was done for Spectrum. So I think you're wrong, but nobody has fixed it. So a child could see these wires and play with them and get hurt. And Todd, you always say, we don't want the kids to get hurt. They're gonna get hurt. I expected someone to come out, maybe tape it off, put cones, anything. So I had to walk around and tell different neighbors, keep your kids away from there. My next concern or question, I guess, do we still have, I know we have yard sale week and everything, do we still have to pay for permits if it's not yard sale week? And if so, how much are they?
We don't charge for permits.
Not any longer, okay. And then my last question, parking. We used to be able to get permits to park on the street for parties and things like that. Is that still an option?
Yes.
We need to publicize this. How many people knew that? That you can get a special permit?
We have people that call here maybe once a month, and depending on what they've got going
You
on.
need to let people
We'll
know
put that on, I
that.
thought it was on the website. It's not.
I didn't see it on there.
We'll
But
get
I
it on
am
the
concerned
website.
about the wire that is exposed, which is a safety concern.
We'll come over and put some duct tape on it.
Well,
I
that
know
would
I
be
said
great.
anything this kind. Again,
Well, why
it's
did that
not,
happen when I
it's
sent
not
my
ours,
email?
it's Cincinnati Bell's.
But it's a safety concern. As my representatives, you should be concerned.
We are, so I'll have.
No, you weren't. Nobody came out.
We got that.
By the way, it was a company in Loveland that did, a contractor that did it.
Carrie Armstrong?
I'm Karen Armstrong, 26 River Court. You brought up tonight Spencer Shank Park, and that was my main concern tonight, and I kind of wrote an open-ended letter. I'm not much of a public speaker, so. But please, I hope you are going to replace it. This equipment is old, rough, and splintering, and our children are going to get hurt. But there's also another thing that needs to be added to this park. On April 3rd, I sent an email about Spencer Shank Park. The email was sent to each member of our Amelia Village Parks and Rec Committee. According to your website, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Hyder, Mr. Hacker, Mr. Fight, and Ms. Rumpke are members of this council. I also sent a message to the Amelia Village Parks and Recs Facebook page. I don't know who runs this page, but they did answer me back also. The email explained how a friend and myself had taken our children to play at the park the day before. The email contained details of how upset we were about the condition of the playground equipment and the playground itself. I even attached pictures to the email of boards being ripped off the equipment and thrown around the park. Rusty nails were left sticking out, just waiting for children to get hurt. I kept checking the park, and it only took you guys 2 days to come fix these issues. Words were picked up and some replaced. Thank you for being quick about that. I was really worried somebody's kid was gonna get hurt. But my email to all of you contained another issue with Spencer Shake Park, something that needs to be added: bathrooms. When taking young kids out, there's bound to be one child who always has to go potty. And of course, we came across the issue that day. There was nowhere for us to take our kids. I brought this concern up in my email. I asked each of you in the Park and Recs Committee and Mayor Hart, why is there no bathroom? I only received a response from Mayor Hart and the message from the Amelia Village Facebook page. No one from the Parks and Rec Committee answered my emails or took time to answer me back. I was disappointed. Mayor Hart did reply back, and I quote, "We normally put the portable toilets in just before the egg hunt." I don't understand. Spencer Shank has a walking track with exercise equipment, a dog park, a basketball court, frisbee golf areas, a playground, and a pavilion. A pavilion, I might add, that can be rented out for birthday parties and other events, but nowhere for us to use a restroom. But like Mayor Hart said, the porta potties will be in just before the egg hunt. So now I have to say, where does it say on the Amelia Village website that renting the pavilion at the park has to be done certain times of the year? So I only have the porta potty in place at certain times of the year. Why can't there be a better solution to this problem for parents at the park? Why can't we just have a simple building with a toilet, one men's, one women's? Something that can even be locked at night, if that's a concern. I see your village trucks drive through Sedona Ridge daily. It takes no time for them to pull up, step out, unlock it in the morning or lock it at night. I've seen many parks do this. Just in thought from a frustrated parent who has to pack my kids up in the car and drive home and make them leave the park just to go to the bathroom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Rosser?
Hi, Tim Rosser, 34 Hummingbird Way, past council member, 2008, 2011. Ms. Ryan, I submitted 2 public records requests on March 31st. Haven't received anything. Both pertain to you and your firm. Can you give me a reason why these have been delayed? I did check with John, he did receive them, but I've not heard anything. And it was pertaining to what we talked about last month in the meeting.
So he's received.
He has received.
I have those, like I said, I've got 40 different ones I'm trying to get out there.
I understand.
I have that and Sue's.
Okay, but you know, we can really, rush and get all these ordinances. But we can't get public records requests. You had a whole, 11, I think, between resolutions and ordinances tonight, but you can't get my public records requests that I need. Okay, February council meeting, you gave me a response also, that you are required to defend the Amelia Charter. Tell me how and why. I see that you defend the charter only when it pertains to the mayor and council. But when it comes to the Amelia Village residents, you have no care whatsoever, and I'll tell you why. The charter amendments were not filed on time, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. Todd wrote the Constitution by doing that, but we didn't do nothing about that. I don't understand, it's all one-sided up here. You guys don't stand up for the people who, in other words, pays for everyone to be up here.
I don't get it. You guys don't, do you realize how much you, passed tonight, dollar-wise, by allowing Todd to turn around and take on all these contracts? Do you know the paving companies that, he's proposed? Where do they pay them? Do we know a dollar amount? We're asking to go ahead and, we're giving him free reins to, dig into, a safe and keep pulling monies out. Why do you keep on doing this? I've been up here for almost a year now, saying the same thing, but you keep on doing it. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Amounts are in the ordinances.
What
And
is-
the amounts are in the ordinances and their contracts,
But-
the details are attached.
But the thing is, where was the discussion? Where did these people find out? When did you get your packets? 2 days ago, okay. When did you know about all this and when did you research everything that was passed tonight? How did you know all the specifics about these ordinances tonight? Or do you? Seriously, come on.
The background is provided and whereas clauses and the actual contract is attached to the ordinance. That's the information that is
I know.
conveyed.
When I was on council, we discussed this, so the folks out here knew what was going on. You guys hide all this, the transparency's gone, again.
Thanks, Tim.
Also, hey Todd, you remember?
Remember you, yeah.
No, when did you, serve, when were you sworn in? As mayor?
Which time?
The first time. 2012?
I think it was.
Yeah. These are dated September 26, 2011. You said you brought Kroger's. I have no prints.
Those are not.
How much you want that? How much you want that? So here we go again. Here we go again.
Renee Gerber, 30 Hummingbird Way. At the last council meeting, Mr. Fisher attempted to explain away the reasons for using the emergency clause on just about every ordinance and resolution that has been passed for the past few years. The attempt was something compared to a dog and a pony show. The binder sat there in front for all to see, and the explanation was ended with the statement, "We hope we put this to rest." Issues are not put to rest, Mr. Fisher. They are meant to be explained. An emergency clause is defined, and the ORC should have some explanation as to why it's an emergency. I heard none of those tonight. We are no longer a council audience that also approved emergencies, which you happen to point out to Tim and I. Your lack of knowing the correct way to conduct business in this village has come to an end. We only need to look to the seat that Todd Hartwell has held for many reasons as to why this village has come to this point. In school, we learned about a common denominator. This applies to math as well as how you find a point of breakdown within this community. Todd Hart has held this seat for 8 years. In 8 years, there's been a lot that has gone wrong. Since you took us back in time, Mr. Fisher, with the waste of resources, time, and money, let's look at, to find out how many ordinances and resolutions have been passed, let's look at all the people that have fled this village, administration, and police department. 3 administrative spots have resigned. 9 council members in 8 years have resigned, and you all have 4-year terms. So do the math on that. And 11 police officers have left this village. There have been lawsuits, excessive spending, and the lack of transparency. Lies in the form of voting for a charter amendment will dissolve this village or get rid of our police department. I could go on and on, but all these have a common denominator. That's you, Mr. Hart. Also, everyone sitting up here on council has been appointed. Only one got 11 votes because no one wanted to run. You have people who continue to put in applications to be on council, yet because of a group that they are associated with, they aren't picked. I'm not gonna go, because now, none of you listen to any public unless it benefits you. Tonight, thank you for doing that and shutting them up so we couldn't look at playground equipment. That is so petty. All you had to do was have a picture and half these people would have been satisfied with that. But no, you have to get the last word. This village needs a change of leadership, and it will come in the form of a new mayor, new council members to start. It will start with the residents getting back into making decisions and what's best for this village, not Todd Hart. I am Renee Gerber, I am running for mayor, and I have approved this message.
Kenny Spiegel.
Denny Spiegel, 12 South Pine. Just a couple questions. At the planning commission meeting, you appointed a chair, correct? Correct? Did anybody appoint a chair? Yes?
Yes.
Joe Williams? I just wondered then, why did you keep on taking over the meeting? Doesn't the chair take the meeting?
It was his first meeting, he's never done a meeting. He
Well,
won't
Dave's
do
been
the
on
next
that planning
meeting.
commission forever. He was on
Yeah.
the planning commission when I was there. So don't tell me he doesn't know what he's
He
doing.
doesn't, so.
Wow.
All right, I was pulling some of the other entities around here for how many emergency ordinances they do. Oh, if they do 10 a year, that was the highest I got in the last 5 years. So I'm just saying, you guys abuse that power terribly. Also, you need to start looking for your grants for your bathrooms. There's plenty. CBG would be one that you could look at for your bathrooms. I know how that works. You all know how that works. I want to know about Ms. Forbes and Mr. Kiefer. What are their qualifications to be on planning?
You picked him.
The residents.
So they know nothing about the planning. So my
I
question
didn't
was-
interview him, you can.
So, well, Dave Kiefer was on, he lives in, he was on council there. He is a ex-police officer, he's a police chaplain. He's done planning commission for Oakley, he runs LLCs and soup kitchens. So he knows a lot about the planning commission.
And Ms. Forbes?
Ms. Forbes is a resident of Amelia. She opened and closed multiple Buffalo Wings and Rings as manager. She knows about planning businesses, and they're both highly, highly qualified to take it.
So are they gonna be voting on the Palmer property? You guys are gonna bring them in and let them vote on that? Okay, so how are they gonna get up to speed? Okay, that's all I have, thank
Kyle Oster.
Our also very far away. Just I have a question for you. So, in the finance, last finance meeting, you made a comment saying that the village was paying $275,000 towards administration. In the past 4 years, the village had not paid anything towards the rental. Why are we able to see this now? And where are the funds coming from?
It's not for certain how we're gonna pay that $275,000. That was the number that we discussed in that meeting. That hasn't gone to council yet.
Well, just coming from an outsider opinion, and that I think it's 1% is paying for that. So, and I just want to make a statement for you that I strongly recommend you quit attacking the residents and past council members as you're an elected official. An elected official gets voted in by the residents, and attacking them will not represent them. So just let you know there. And vote Tim Rosser for council. Please run.
Don Gates.
Don Gates, 90 Woodard Ridge Drive. Dear Mayor of the Council, I'm here to speak on behalf of myself and the feelings that I'm sure a lot of residents have. Over the past year, you've tried to sneak a 1% earnings tax in with very little input from the residents. I feel that we've been deceived, ignored on a continual basis. You block our wishes at every turn. You continue to spend money we don't have and mislead residents on a constant basis. You told us the 1% was to fix the roads. Now at the last finance meeting, you're going to take that money and pay off half of the mansion. Why? We've had it since September of 2014. We continue to get deeper in debt. The village owes properties in need. Those can be liquidated. to sell money and to offset some of our debt. The charter council is built, gets violated, and when asked to hold people accountable, according to charter, it's not done. If I break the law, I would most certainly be held accountable by the law enforcement. The council threatens residents in an open forum with no proof of such activities exist. Acts as if residents are threatening them, which I find very hard to believe. Then you get upset because we question your intentions. Welcome to public service. You're going to be scrutinized because you're a public official. The very same thing happens to me as a public official. Yeah, that's the name of the game. If you want to do what most of the residents want, then there would be all of us angry and upset up here. If you don't like the scrutiny, then step down and let somebody's going to serve take this position. If you think you've forgotten what you said when you took an oath of office, you might want to review your oath and start acting accordingly. You're supposed to work for the greater good of the community and run the village in a fiscally responsible manner. I don't feel that it's happening at all. You treat this as your personal playground. This is not your money, this is our money. We contribute to it. It is each and every resident's hard-earned money. Some of us work multiple places to provide for our family, put our kids through college. We will no longer sit and watch you run this place in the ground. Some of us will stand up and voice our displeasure and try to make a difference. You better start listening because we are the people of Amelia. Stop building more houses that the schools can't handle. Start fixing our roads. Stop spending money like it's your personal checkbook. Look out for our children, our elderly, and our needs in our community. And my name is Don Gates, and I am running for council.
My name's Eric Kirsch. I'm at 5 Minor Drive. We also own East Yoga at 64 East Main Street. And we're coming here to implore you to, we have a zoning regulation that we have to do paving in our parking lot, and we have a deadline of June 1st. We've been unable to raise enough funds to get that paving done, asking for extension, so we can make more money to do that. As a new business, as you know, we probably don't really make a whole lot of money your first year, and this expense is kind of putting us in line as far as running our place. We're trying to bring new clientele to the area, have a lot of fun at Amelia and that kind of thing. So I'm just asking the council, because I talked to Nick via email, and he said to come to council and ask for extension. He said we could do hardship, we could do paving, or concrete. I asked for grass type of paving. I don't know if you saw that, it was an email, and you guys declined that, but it was dust free, and that was what the zoning thing says, dust free. So we were looking into other options that would basically go with our yoga sense of, you know, community and earthiness. So we're still, we've gotten several bids, and a lot of them, and they're way out of our price range, and we're just trying to, you know, make more money to get to that point. Also, on a second note, as our building is pretty close to the road and there's that light that's right there next to the Dollar Tree, we've noticed that there's a lot of speeders, and we're asking that people, the police, patrol that a little bit more. We've also noticed that people pouring into our driveway get honked at by said speeders and trying to get past and stuff like that. It's kind of a dangerous intersection. The cars are super close together. There's that little bend where there's a turn lane, and we're just imploring you to maybe patrol that a little bit more. Hopefully, the new police officer was an addition, so maybe you can, you know, patrol that a little bit more. I would appreciate it. I had talked to him before earlier last year, and they said they would, but it's very rare that I see anybody out there. And we, the taller police officer, he's come out to, yeah. So those are the few things that I want to bring up. That's all I have.
I know I talked with the attorney, we can talk about giving him an extension on the
That,
I need to call Nick and talk to them.
yeah, that'll be appropriate at that point, and if some decision is issued that is adverse to you, then you can refer to the zoning code for appeal.
How long do you think you'll need?
Well, we got another bid coming in Friday, I don't know. It's
They're
hard.
all so high.
It's
For a
hard to
small
say,
area,
and
it's just.
And it wasn't anything that we knew about when we bought the building. When we talked to the people, they said, oh, we haven't had any problems with the gravel. But I understand that it's something that, I guess, a new business coming in is not really always. So we're trying to be compliant with the zoning orders. We bought that building with, pretty much our safety. So.
Okay, we'll look into that for you.
And we just announced that we're closing the Batavia location, so we're not leasing that one, so we're all of our, all of our attention on that.
Okay.
Hopefully that will be generating here.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
It's pre-existing. You should never have to do
We'll go ahead and do the mayor's input. Some of these questions came in real recently, some of them didn't. Some of these people do want their question read to council. I have answered all these questions to these individuals, and council has a written response. I've emailed you on their question and the response. So the first one's Ms. Northrup. Good afternoon. On the village website, there's a tab that has record requests. It is supposed to have all record requests, or does the village pick and choose what is put in that section? O-2019-04 and O-2019-05 are ordinances giving officers raises. Why were they declared an emergency? Why is ratifying an agreement with Plum Good Lawn Care declared an emergency? Thank you in advance. Any comments? Second one is Roy Gerber.
You can answer the questions?
I've answered the questions. They've got a written email. I'd like to have the following questions be asked at the next council meeting. When will the new intersection start construction work on State Route 125-119 West Main Street? And what is the expected time for the construction to be completed? Several residents noticed 2 hose clearing out the lot. That village has acquired 19 Oak Street. Is the village preparing to start a construction project on this lot soon? And has council decided on the purpose of this lot in the future? Any comments?
I would like to know the answer to that question.
Question 1, number 1.
What's the point of
This
that?
came from,
If you're not gonna
I thought you were gonna answer
is
that at the meeting.
unbelievable.
He's just trying to push her buttons back.
some of these didn't come in time, so I went ahead and answered and sent the answers out to you.
Did Megan Northrup's come in time?
Mine was in on Tuesday.
Where's the mayor input?
This is the mayor's input, thank you.
Oh, that's none.
This
It's
is
you.
Mine was on Tuesday
Ms.
too.
Ms. Henning, council purchased the building to use for administrative purposes. Mr. Hart is concerned, says, I repeat the question, why was the administrative building purchased? How many employees work in the administrative building? When will the administrative building reopen for meetings? I've responded to her also. Are there any comments?
I would like to know the answer to that.
We all
This is
will.
not public forum.
Oh, my God.
Then why are you
So, Ms. Solicitor,
Read it. Don't
when
even
you
read
first
it.
came up with this idea,
It
the idea
the-
was people could ask the questions ahead of time and get them answered at the council meeting. Is that correct or not?
Yes, that's exactly why we're supposed to do
Is
it.
that I'm asking you.
That's,
That's the way it was set up, right?
yes, this is at my discretion.
Oh. You are
Like
unbelievable.
I say, thank God this is on tape.
Yeah.
Actually, she did not give a response.
No, what's the question?
I live at 3 Otter Court. Down the street, there's a smaller park. There was a gazebo that there at one time that was taken to the administrative building. When this first happened, talk amongst neighbors was that it was coming back. It's been years, because
Just on
still in the
Facebook.
administration building.
Is it good?
Obviously,
Is it as good
it's been
as
coming
it
back to the park. So my question is, what are the plans for the area? So, moved from, it is an eyesore, the gazebo was removed, but the area was never fully cleared, so residents on the side of the neighborhood were left with what resembles a litter box. Why can't that area be cleaned up so it can be green space and used? Do you have any plans to bring a gazebo similar to setting area back? And I responded to her, and she said, thank you very much.
Oh, that was nice.
What about my 4 questions they've got in Tuesday?
You said you were gonna respond.
Oh, he hasn't responded to one of them.
Let me just say something, Mr. Mayor. When everybody walks out, they're angry. They're angry at you because of the way you're behaving. I tried several times to talk to you, and I've gotten cut down by you several times.
I called you several times and left messages, you never respond. Thank you, Mr. Kirkland.
That's the way you handle
You
it.
guys said there was no meeting today.
The manager at the office told me there was no meeting, that it was concerning me. Of course you want me to go home.
Yeah.
Question
That's
number
what he
1,
does.
what was the last streetlight safety committee meeting? That's Mr. Rosser. Question 2, what are the dates and time of fixing the road on Jenny Lynn and putting it in a turn lane? Also, the cost of the village. Question number 3, the vacant land, State Route 125 across from Kroger's at the Jones. When and how much does the village purchase it for? Also, what is the intention of the village to do with the village land? Question 4, so I noticed a week or 2 ago that there was a dumpster sitting on the lot at the corner of Oak and Maple, and it looked like they were clearing out debris. So what was the reasoning for that and the cost to rent the dumpster? Are we planning on developing the land soon? If so, dates. If not, why are we spending money on it? When that money can be used on other things that need fixed in the village, so I'm also responsible.
I would like to know the answer to that. You posed a question, could you please answer it?
This is why this village is gonna get dissolved, and it's all gonna fall on you, Todd Hart. All of it, on all of you.
Go into executive session for ORC 121-G. Consider the appointment, dismissal. Motion.
President, we have petitions right outside the door. You want to sign it?
How many questions did you answer? Anybody?
Yes, Mr. Hart.
No, he's not. He doesn't.
Obviously not. Would you rather?